Hi everyone and welcome along. I first want to say how excited I am at the uptake of the YouTube membership. So last week we announced our YouTube membership, which is a really fun way to support the channel if you haven't got any interest in signing up to Patreon or other things like that. You can see just below the video a little sort of parade of our YouTube members, a little thanks to them, and we get some really fun perks. I say we because I signed up as well. I'm a member of my own channel. You get personalised emojis, a fun little membership badge, and a few other perks of some early access and behind the scenes, which is very cool. So if you want to support the channel, just click down, you can see the little button saying join, and you can find out all about that there. But for today, we are doing a gorgeous spring card. Here we have it. So we did daffodils on Tuesday and we went into great depth with how to paint the daffodils there. So I highly recommend you have a little look at that before you have a go at our card today. But it's a really fun little 3D card with cutout elements and little pop-up things, and perfect for any occasion really. So grab your paints and let's get started. For this card, we are going to use just normal watercolour paper, the regular type I always use, cold press 300 GSM, and you've got a link to the paper I use in the episode notes. But I have readily scored it, so I've got the flat card here. When it's folded, this is about 6 by 4 inches, and so that makes it 6 by 8 when it's unfolded. And I'm going to use one of my flathead one-stroke brushes from the Bloom brush set that I sell, and we're going to paint in some gingham stripes, and I'm going to create a slightly turquoisey green using my aqua green, but it just makes it a really fresh, bright, vibrant green. We'll add a little bit more in there. There we go. A little bit like Hooker's green, to be honest, a colour I used to have in my palette. So that's just a mixture of sap green, green gold and aqua green. And we're going to paint stripes across and above and below. You might have a piece of card or something you can put in between, but I'll just put a bit of kitchen roll so I don't get too much paint on the other bits. But I'm literally going to paint quite wobbly lines like this, and the paint is nice and dilute. I think these things are far more charming if you do them freehand. And this brush is great because it holds the perfect amount of paint. I don't know about you, but it feels like the most common use for my paintings is cards. Card making is so much fun, and I also think it's just so well received, handmade cards. And we probably all made lots of them as kids and then got out of the habit and started shopping for them. But I can tell you, and this is regardless of skill level, people really appreciate a hand-painted card because you took the time. So I waited for that to dry, turned the card around and just continued on with the stripes. And obviously this is a longer lined paint, so your brush may well run out. And try, if you're starting up again, try to sort of overlap it at different stages along the line of the different lines so that they don't all look like they've been redone from the same point. Okay, looking good. Actually, I almost find it easier to finish off this like this. And it's really important that you let that first line dry, the horizontal stripes dry before you put these on top, because that's what makes it into a glaze And the gingham stripes can be sort of seen layered on top of each other like this, rather than all blended into one another. And there we have our card, looking very nice. It's pretty good. Just smooth that one, smooth that. Okay, lovely. We need to let that dry 100%, but we do have a few other bits of watercolour paper here. I've got a piece that is sort of a bit narrower and not as tall as the card, and what that is going to do is that's going to go in behind it, whoops, like that, and be sort of the backdrop for our daffodils. So if you wanted, you could always paint this with a fun little wash. Maybe a sky blue could be quite good, so I'll get my cerulean blue. And I've just got my size 12 connoisseur round brush. Just painting some strokes to sort of create a few little clouds. And then I'll get, every brush seems to have a load of green on it. Here we go. That can just be a nice little spring sky background for our daffodils. Now, we've painted daffodils this week already, so that tutorial from Tuesday is a really nice in-depth sort of still life painting of some daffodils. I highly recommend you go and have a look at that one for the really, really in-depth version. And we are going to paint some slightly smaller daffodils on this piece of paper, which we're then going to cut out, and we're going to fix it all together to make a very sweet little card. So therefore, I've just painted in the first layer of petals, and you can join me for the second layer. So, like I said, we went through this in great detail in Tuesday's tutorial, but I'm using lemon yellow and I'm painting in 6 petals. There's going to be overlaps here, which at this stage, when we're just using a single colour, we're not going to really be able to sort of define between the petals, but once we get some other colours involved, we'll be able to make things a bit more clear. I also placed in a little sort of larger radius circle for help of a reminder of where the petals should reach to, just so I know in terms of the other flowers on the page, in terms of the overlapping and things. So I'm just using a size 0 brush and a sort of coffee consistency lemon yellow. Like I say, it's a bit hard to quite see where I'm painting, but I'll be able to define it all in a short while. Okie dokie. I can now use, I've got this lovely green already in my palette. I think I will just add a bit of sap green to it just to make it a little bit different to the green. I think that's quite important. And I can begin by painting in the leaves. Now what's important, you can see everything is sort of coming into this area here, is that we sort of extend our leaves and stems really far down beyond, because there's going to be a little bit of an overlap where we need to make sure that everything is tucked down nicely, hidden from view. So once my petals have all dried, I'm just going to paint in all the stems and leaves with my size 0 brush. So a few stages on, here we have the daffodils. So I will just like reiterate what I did, but as I said, you can go to our tutorial from Tuesday and see all of this in great detail. So after doing the initial petals, just a little bit of stronger yellow for a few strokes of detail, and then an orange trumpet with a little bit of brown to just create that detail. But I'm going to now just get a tiny bit of, where's the little space? Here we go, a bit of Payne's grey and a bit of burnt sienna. Just mix those two together. And with a very little bit on the brush, I just want to create that bit of shadow, a few strokes, and it also helps me sort of define where the petals are in relation to one another. I think we'll have that one coming over the top actually. So you see how you can use the shadow, and it's such a small amount of colour, but it makes a big difference. And we have got this little gap between the stem and the flower on some of these sidelined ones. So let's get a little bit of yellow ochre and just paint in a little bit of that. We can't see a huge amount of it there, but we can see it there. And that looks really, really nice. So we need to let that dry, and then we are going to cut it out. Now some of you might use a Cricut or a similar kind of machine, and you can cut your shapes out digitally like that. But for the rest of us, I love these little Fiskars scissors because they are lovely for detail, and I do all of my sort of cutting out that involves scissors. With these you could also use a scalpel and a cutting mat, but essentially what we're looking for is a cutout with a little bit of white around it, just for a nice, well, it makes life easier and it makes everything just a bit more sturdy. And if you wanted, you could get a scalpel and cut out the gaps in between, but I'm kind of easy, I'm just going to cut it out like that. They're all cut out, and I've added a little bit just down there just in case. Now the next thing is, what I want to do is I want to cut a window in this, but I want to have it so that these sort of burst out and overlap over the front. So what I've done is I've sort of worked out a shape to cut my window from, that there'll be a little bit of an overlap, and then I can draw around that on the card. And it doesn't have to be a circle, it could be a sort of an archway shape, an oval, a rectangle. But again, we're going to get cutting. So what I've done is I've cut just inside of that line, because what I want to do now is just use that pencil line of the circle to help me paint in some nice little detail on the shape. So I thought I'd begin, and I think it's again really handy to have your little bit of kitchen roll through the thing. So I'm going to begin by just painting a deep sap green and aqua green frame, and it's quite dilute. It's a bit of a glaze really. And I mean, I love decorative details. That's why I started my the Winton paper co in the first place was a wedding stationery business. And yeah, this is, like I say, my favourite kind of thing, bit of card making. So we're going to go all the way around, let that dry, and then I'm going to use the same colour in a more concentrated way to paint some fun details, and maybe even a message like top and bottom, like happy birthday, happy spring, all sorts of nice things. Let's let that dry. So the first thing I've done is I've just done a thin concentrated line of the aqua green right on the border. And now what I want to do is paint a little bow and I can just neaten that up a little bit. So doing that thin to thick makes it look like the ribbon is sort of twisting, which is quite sweet. And then I like the idea of making it look like the ribbon has been sort of threaded through the card. So I'm just going to do little sort of rectangular dashes of concentrated aqua green. All around the edge of this circle, and then we'll be done with our painting, and then it's just time to assemble the card. It's my mum's birthday tomorrow, and I actually have already made her a card very similar to this, and that was the inspiration of putting this together. But I'm looking at this one now and thinking how nice it is, and maybe I should give this one to her instead. We'll have to see. So here we are at the assembly stage. Essentially what we're going to do is slot this in behind and stick it to the back side of the front, and then we're going to pop that in like that. And how lovely does that look? So bit of a chicken and egg here. I think what I'm going to do, I've got my glue stick. You could use all-purpose glue, you could use any kind of glue really. But I just thought this one might be good because it's not too sort of like serious in terms of sticking. So I thought if I stuck that on there, but I don't sort of press it down too much, then I put a bit of glue on the back of this, and then hopefully, whilst it's still drying, yeah, I can just slide that in, and we'll make it so the stems are just tucked down in there. And there you have a really sweet card for spring, which will be great for birthdays, or thank yous, my goodness, any kind of occasion. But isn't it the nicest thing to receive a hand-painted card? So thank you so much for watching. I've really enjoyed myself painting this, and I hope you will have fun with it too. And don't forget, use this as your base of inspiration, mix it up, do different colours, patterns, flowers, all sorts of things. But I will see you again next time. Bye!